So I went to Neptune High School.
Neptune. Oh, okay, Neptune High School. And so, and you said that at some point kind of shifted from school, but in the beginning, like, can you give me your experience in the beginning, like the first couple of years that you did attend school, and what I want, because I'm okay, because I want to establish a timeline here, because I want to know what your experience was like at that time, your social circle, your and what led up to, in your own words, what led up to shifting from, you not really going to school as much and just focusing on the job aspect. Like, can you just kind of give us a little bit more of a lead up and what led up to?
I think because when I came from Red Bank, it was like our town was small. Like it was like I knew everybody. Like it was small where you can like I could name down to everybody in the school, you know, right? But then when I moved to Neptune, it was like a different world. Like literally, like the class was like 300, 400 students each grade. So it's like massive kids. Like so it was like the fit in was way like I fit in when I was in Red Bank. Like I was like it wasn't that many people. So it was like, all right, I know you, you know. Out there it was hard to fit in because there's so many people and it's like
Right.
so much going on. It's like, you know, so that was kind of like hard, like adjusting to that because I wasn't used to so many people, so many people at one time in a grade, like you know what I mean. So it was a little different. But then once I kind of started, I'm a figure it out. I'm like one of those figured out people. Like you put me anywhere, I'm going to definitely make it make sense. I'm going to fit in. I'm going to make myself be the person that need to be where I need to be. You know, I'm not a person to be like a loner or people like, oh, who's this kid? Like I'm definitely gonna be one of the persons that's gonna be
You're gonna make yourself known.
for sure 100%.
Okay. And so, when you entered into the CLAW program, you started shifting from high school. Where did you work at that time?
My first job, like I said, my mom used to work like my mom was a supervisor at this grocery store called Stop and Shop.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes.
She and that was like my first job. I got my first job there and I worked there during like I said during like my high school years. And then once like high school was over, I had my first child. My first child was at 17, so that's when I really like, oh, this is about to get real, you know. So I had like little small. I used to do like these little things. It was like I don't know if you remember, like it was like these things called Nextels where you could put the ringtones on people's phones. I kind of
Hmm. Oh
mastered
wow, you really okay? You really give me some nostalgia. Okay, go ahead.
my neighborhood. Nobody was doing that, so I kind of mastered that. And I was making so much money and just doing that, like out my mom house and all right, out my mom house and just making money like and I was like, I don't need to work. Like I'm making so much money. People want to do ringtones, and then I started to like transition into learning how to do music. Because when you cut up ringtones, you got to know how to like
Yes.
edit it to a certain size. So I started learning that. Then I started learning how to make beats because I learned how to do tempo of the music to cut it up for the ringtone. So I kind of transitioned to making beats and stuff like that. And then when we making beats, I learned how to start making music videos because people wanted to rap on the beats I made. So that's kind of
Mm,
me into shooting videos. And then I started the liking of the camera and then learning the camera, shooting videos. And then it's like, all right, now I'm about to start
your
shooting.
transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but real quick before we get more into the filmmaking part, because I know, and thank you for the segue, by the way. Because I know we're getting into the filmmaking aspect. But before we get to that, you being a teen dad, I want to touch on that because not many, I haven't heard. I think you're the first person that I interviewed with so far that mentioned about being a teen dad, because I had a couple of teen moms, that of your peers that I spoke to, and so I wanted to kind of get to know more, get into a little bit more into that, because I want to hear more of the men. I want to hear more of the men about being a teen dad and having to step up and having to, kind of learn certain things that most adults have to, most adults have to acquire. So can you give us a little bit on, the story behind, was it a high school sweetheart or someone that you knew from the block, or and just kind of give a little bit of backstory when as a teen dad.
I was like when I was younger, like I said, everybody used to call me Love, and I was like a I don't know, I was like a lover boy, so I had multiple different females. I was just young, just figuring out, you know, running the streets, just messing around or whatever. 1 second.
Yes. So, Daddy Love, he had to step away real quick, had to handle some business, but he was just giving us,
I'm sorry.
he was just about to give us. That's okay. I wanted to just kind of, for those, pause it, for those who are not aware, I just wanted to kind of let them know what you was talking about, and it was getting more into the the teen dad phase.
Yeah, so when I was like I said, I was younger, I used to just like I said, I was like dealing like I didn't take a relationship. I used to have multiple different girlfriends and all that stuff. So I ended up finding this one female that me and her kind of like clicked. I was like, dang, she's a little different, whatever. And then we just happened to just I don't know, we just got along and it was different than the other female I would meet and deal with or whatever. And that's the one I had my first child with. It was definitely like not a planned situation, but it hit me fast. Like I said, I didn't even graduate high school yet. So I was about to have my first child. I'm like, wow, this is scary. My mom, I don't know how my mom is going to look at it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
me like
And
nervous because like I know like my brother, he had kids at a young age, and I just seen how his path went for having children at a young age. It was a lot on him, you know. So I was like scared a little bit, like damn. All I thought about was child support. I thought that was like all the like
yes,
like, man,
yes.
I thought it was like a mandatory thing. Like you have a child, you going on child support. Like you know what I'm saying. So me and her had a good relationship. I didn't have to go through all those situations that a lot of people go through. You know, I had my first daughter, and it just kind of like it gave me some purpose. You know, to where now I started to really like, all right, I need to find a way to really be great for her. You know, and have build a family to basically want more because I just knew how my father wasn't around when I was a young. You know what I'm saying. So I was like let me just try to find this a better way that I actually was consumed to, you know. So that what made me like a better father, you know, being young. Like I'm in her life, watching, doing every step that whatever the process. 'Cause I didn't know, you know, like being a parent at a young age, you don't really know no better. Like you don't know really know.
Right. But
Boost.
did you okay, but going back what you said your brother when you had, when you said that he, had, took that path. So did you learn from that experience to, to kind of
Yes,
be more
yes.
cautious about it? Yeah.
Yes, well, see, one of my biggest fears, my brother had 2 baby moms at a young age. So I just seen the stuff that he used to go through. He used to go through child support. He used to get arrested a lot. That was one thing I
Oh,
didn't understand.
yeah, yeah.
He had like an issue, like where the baby moms used to always beef, and like sometimes he can't see his kid because he was one child and the other child. It just was a headache, and that was one of my biggest fears. Like I don't never want to have multiple women pregnant or multiple baby moms. That was like one of my biggest things to myself. Like I would never do that because I just can't. I just know being in a household where your children are is different than just having a child somewhere else and you don't really know what's going on in that household. So I'd rather know what's going on with my children than basically having someone else raise my kids, you know?
Right. So now, and I want to challenge you real quick, before we move on, Daddy Love. I want to, for those um young men and young women who aspire to be whoever they're going to want to be in life. They're still in high school. They're still trying to figure some things out. And so, based on what you shared with us, from the self discovery from junior high, elementary, junior high, and then high school, becoming a teen dad, can you real quickly pour into those individuals? What would you say to them in front of those young men and young women who aspire to be who they're going to be, and the lessons that you learned and the choice that you made?
I
What
just
would you say to them?
I just feel like as a young like to the young kids that's out there right now, I would just say basically just be you. You know, at the end of the day, like I think that's where a lot of people fail in life is trying to be someone that they're not, you know. Just find who you are and just stick to it. You know what I mean? You'll find your true you by just staying true to yourself, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where a lot of people fail, trying to just be someone else that they're not, you know. And I would just tell the children out there just, you know, just stay focused and stay out the way of things that don't really have nothing to do with you, you know. And that's the best way I can really explain it to them.
Okay, and I thank you for that, because I think a lot of times, we don't understand how important it is for us to pour into, especially now. I mean, it's hard out there. I'm sure you know it is so. It's like they say back in the day, it was real out there. So I mean, it truly is. So
Yeah.
if we sure need it now more than ever. So that's why I always challenge some people that come on to just pour into our youth. So that's very important. So I thank you for that.